Everybody, what's good? What is good?
What up?
On? It's your boy Alex here with a couple of my nearest and dearest. Let's make sure we are on live here. I see our beautiful pictures on Facebook. Everybody take a minute to like, love, laugh, share this bad boy so we can get it in here.
Yeah.
As you can notice, we look a little different today because today we in the man cave.
We in the man cave.
We are in the man cave, fresh out of church, checking our football parlays, looking at scores, sipping on some Aquapana, some Wawa orange juice, Powerade, as far as you're concerned. You know, just having a good time, kicking it at Studio 42, our new favorite hangout. Want to send a special shout out to Susie Hardison, the progenitor of this beautiful studio. Thank you so much for hosting us once again and making us look oh so excellent here in the man cave section of Studio 42. That's right. We have taken over Studio 42. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want our rates to go up. We're borrowing it. We'll be giving it back and arranging all the furniture exactly how it was.
Big shout out to Susie, man. Thank you for letting us use your place.
Yeah, that's right, Veronica. We are legit in a man cave. It's going to be a little different today because they wanted me to be on camera. So your slick comments won't be seen on the screen, but they will be seen on the screen. All right. We want to shout out. Oh, I see my baby's watching. Hey, baby. That means I got to be on my good behavior. But I'm probably not going to be because I'm out with the fellas today. Pastor Alex, I told you. Pastor Alex clocked out.
Oh,
well. Pastor Alex is off. I am off. That's right. I might take my shoes off too. Y'all stop worrying about what we got on our feet in here. We in the man cave. When you're at your house, when you're in somebody's man cave, you don't always have your shoes on.
Right.
We in the man cave, man.
I ain't taking these off. These Iversons. I ain't taking these Iversons off.
Yeah, some of us, I'm glad to see my brother did the sock check. He knew he was all right. Some of us, you know what? I'm gonna leave my shoes all the way on.
You got holes in them?
No, I don't do that.
You don't do that?
I'm married. We don't allow holy socks in the house.
Oh,
my laundry gets checked.
Oh, okay.
I might wash it and get away with it for a while, but once it gets faded, holy or anything, whoop.
Yeah, get up out of there.
I ain't gonna lie, I hold on to my old drawers. My wife made me throw all of them away from like high school socks, underwear.
I'm sorry.
Well, we want your high school drawers.
Yeah, we want them gone. Like, you remember? You know when we graduated, bro? Like that's a long time.
I had some I was fit. You hear me? They just,
I couldn't fit my
them
high
thug
school
drawers.
drawers.
there was a little one out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so before we go too much further, man, as you notice, you got the normal crew here with you, King Carter and Deuce Hype. We want to welcome King Carter back, man. We did the last episode.
Sure did.
We ain't gonna go into details about that.
We won't.
We got to make sure he get a little bit more aquapana in this, before we let him be honest about that.
Yeah.
But today, we have a very special guest with us. I ain't reading no bio. All I'm gonna do is tell you what I know about him. Okay, this is a man that is a host amongst hosts when it comes to your event.
Right.
He might sing at your event. If you invite him to the basketball game, he might sing the national anthem and announce the starting lineups.
For sure.
And put the extra Spanish R on the Spanish people's name when they score. If you try him, you might get shot. You might get submitted. You might catch these hands because he's an MMA fighter. I'm not playing. He's an MMA fighter.
Oh, yeah. I seen it.
No, don't worry about the lawyer piece yet. We're not.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute.
And beat his case.
We're not to the case yet. After you catch these hands, he might choke you out. And then he might pose for a picture. I don't know if you've seen his latest pictures. He had a little model streak going on.
Yeah.
I was hating on the photos. I was like, okay, look, we ain't even all the way in the man cave yet. I got to tell you, I hated on the post. I didn't like the post.
Yeah.
By the time he put the one up with his shirt off, I was like, all right, bro, you don't went too far.
Right.
He had his head off. I didn't see that one, but I did see the one we was getting his T'Challa on. I seen that one. He had his cane. You know what I'm saying? Had his whole, Black Panther T'Challa situation going on.
Bro,
Yeah.
T'Challa came out the shirt.
Came out of it.
Maybe want to do push-ups.
Feeling himself.
So after he gets done whooping you, if you die, he still might sing at your funeral or read the scripture
Yeah.
or play a selection or read the resolution.
Yes.
Because he has one of those real good resolution voices.
Yes, he does.
When he's at church. In other words, he loves the Lord is what I'm trying to say in the midst of all this. And then finally, when it comes time to defend himself, he is the Esquire.
Well, God been good to you, man. You got time off?
We
I
had
got a good boss.
You got a great boss when you are the boss.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
man. We got Alton Edmond in the man cave for our inaugural episode. Now, look, I told him I got to explain to him because I'm a little bougie and a little country. I've been saying his name wrong for 27 years. So if y'all hear an Alton, it's just my Melbourne beach side coming out. That's all that is.
He said Melbourne Beach.
I'm going to try to stay downtown.
Yeah.
Melbourne Beach might come out a bit. So I'm sorry, man. Alton, how are you, man?
What's up?
Man, I feel like $1 million plus tax, man. Thank you for having me.
You look like it, man. He walked in with the suit. I almost immediately said, you know what, guys, we gotta re-strategize.
Man, I didn't get the memo. I'd have put my Jordans on had I known.
I would, man. Listen, when you walked in here, I said, I might need to go double check my tie and go change and get right for you, man.
Real talk.
Well, I ain't got nothing to change into, so
I got out of church. I stopped by Wawa to get me something to eat on, and I came right here. Otherwise, I'd have been right. Next time I'll be on point.
I got you, man. Listen, man, we love to have you, man. We appreciate you spending your time coming here, man. Very much so we can chop it up and have a conversation about some things that I think every one of us talk about, amongst us in our inner circles, I guess you could say. Each one of us has something to add here. You all are men,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's important and could help maybe some other women kind of see what our perspective is. And also Mr. Alton here is single, so we can get his point of view on what things are like too, man.
Yeah, because I see what's happening now is Carter got some things on his mind he needs to get off his chest.
Please.
I'm gonna get us there. But we're gonna ease into Carter's section because Carter's trying to hook you right in.
Trying to hit 0 to 60 real quick. He trying to go 0 to 60.
So before we get into all that, I gotta know, Alton, do you have any special projects coming, any matches coming up, any charitable events or anything that you want to plug on the front end? That way we can get the business taken care of before we get to the business.
Man, it's always something going on. I don't have anything off the top of my mind that I can think of. Just know that if you are in need of criminal defense services, business law services, or if you need to get your will and final affairs put in order, call Edmond Law at 321-285-9505, where we stand boldly in your defense. That's the voice he was talking about.
That's how you plug. That's how you plug.
You see that?
That's how you plug.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Teach me, my
Hey.
Make sure you take that number down because your wife just entered the chat.
My wife
and she said, don't get him in trouble today.
Well, too late. Hey, it's too late. He gonna get in trouble. He better get in some trouble.
Say on record, he gonna get himself in trouble.
We have nothing to do with that.
Speech. I gave him a speech because usually what happens when men go out, we typically, especially those of us who are married,
right.
Number one, if we were going to lie, we would have had to lie straight by now. So it's too late to orchestrate. It's too late to orchestrate the lie. So what we did was we gave each other the speech. Hey, if something here happens today, it is your fault.
Yeah.
That's right.
I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say this. I always kind of speak on certain things. I tread the water in a general aspect. I never point anybody out. I never, make it seem as though it is, specifically somebody. So just want to throw that out there.
I ain't got nothing to say.
I don't speak on how anybody else feels.
Yeah.
I don't know how to articulate the way that a woman may feel. I just know Rashad to the best of my ability. And as a man, I could probably tell y'all what y'all thinking and how y'all thinking. The fact of the matter is we mostly think the same way.
All right. And before we go any further, see, my wife has the funny bone today also.
Oh.
She's talking about it's the way they fear the wives. I want to say on camera, don't nobody fear nothing.
Come on now.
Amen.
I've just grown accustomed to a certain level of footsie when I lay down.
I heard that.
I'm trying to guarantee when I hit this move right here, there's a foot to contact. If I hit one of these, I'd have been out the game too long. I wake up if the foot ain't there. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna act like the foot's not gonna be there for at least 32 minutes of this broadcast. Because we got my dog Alton in here. Alton, because we had some feedback when we were talking about another subject. Y'all ain't got nobody single on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we brought the Brevard Bachelor, Alton Edmond,
I like that.
the Esquire, up in here to give you some perspective about what's going on in the world, not only of dating, but just from a man's perspective of being single. And I just want to give Alton kudos. We're going to get to some content that he posted here in a second. But this isn't your average run-of-the-mill, what's become popular is called an incel, out here complaining about women or complaining about the dating scene. In other words, this isn't someone who can't get a date complaining about dating.
Right.
I want you to see this suit is him relaxed. He's relaxed right now.
Mm-hmm.
In relaxed mode, he looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what he puts on when he's trying?
I've seen him do a wardrobe change in the show 4 times.
You seen it?
Four times. 4 times.
One.
Hey, 4 times. Just saying. And each jacket looking more expensive. The lady we get. Just saying.
The ladies in the chat saying you must have had some good applicants. If you didn't have them before, what? Man Cave might get you a couple of inbox messages. Can you tell him to repeat that legal number one more time? What's that he said about a will and testimony?
Right.
Come on. Mrs. Edmond out there somewhere.
Hey.
If she watching, hey boo.
That's how you plug. I'm telling you, that's how you plug.
All right, so look, I'm gonna start us on a nice. Let's ease into it a little bit. I ain't even gonna get to your post first. I'm gonna let you sip your orange juice from Heaven's gas station, Wawa, and I'm gonna ask you, as a single man with the desire to have a meaningful relationship, and you even just said now, Miss Edmond is out there watching somewhere.
Absolutely.
What is the biggest challenge you run into when dating?
I want to say that a challenge in dating that I've experienced, definitely in the last few years, especially, is a lot of women or having to combat a woman's brokenness and hardness as a result of her experiences in relationships before me. I once dated a young lady who had an ex who cheated on her and got somebody else pregnant. I don't have any kids. Never got anybody pregnant, never had that issue. But when she dated me, she brought those concerns over what that other guy did into our relationship. And so when I would go and, I try to do a lot of things in the community. I try to be active. When I would go to basketball games to support young men that I mentored, when I would go to different places, I have to answer these questions about, where you going, who you with, this and that. And it's like, I was doing these things in the community before I met you, and I'm going to keep doing them. after I met you. And so, you know, I'm only going to answer so many questions about this and that and take so many accusations before it's time for me to move on in a different direction. But I would definitely say that um, dealing with some women that have been hardened by their negative experiences with other men before me and have not healed from those things, that has been a really major barrier as of late.
That's crazy, trying to put a lawyer on probation.
Whole ankle monitor out here, bro. No, thank you.
Carter, you said, listen, did I throw you the alley-oop early on accident?
No, you didn't throw me no alley-oop. But with what you just said, especially about dealing with that brokenness before dealing with you, do you think that it's her past experiences that brought that about, or do you think that is like how can I put it, kind of the norm for society now? Because the broken woman seems like a consistent thing, right? And then at what point in time do we address that healing needs to happen before they get into something else?
You know, I can't speak for every woman because, you know, it's a lot of different scenarios out there. But I think that, you know, in this age, right, and I might be cutting into a topic down the road, but, you know, I'm 34. And so I primarily look to date in between 27, 28 and around 34, 35, where my age range is, because I have no children and I want children.
Right.
And so I'm not looking to get all the way up in the 40s. I know some beautiful sisters out there in their 40s. I love you. God bless you. I'm not the one for you, though. I appreciate you. And I'm not looking to go back to elementary school. So 20, 22, 21, 20, that's not where my eyes are. And so in my age range where I'm looking, you know, I'm dealing with women primarily who have had quite a bit of dating experience at this point in their lives. They've had breakups at this point in their lives, and they've dealt with heartbreaks at this point in their lives. And the question is whether, in my mind, the question is whether we are normalizing healing that needs to take place before getting into relationships. Because, you know, dating and moving from person to person is something that seems very popular, but taking time to get some counseling, you know, is something that you don't hear people talk about. You know, I had a bad breakup in 2021. I was engaged for all of 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And when I broke up with this woman in April of 2021, I sought out counseling, and I was in counseling from April of 2021 until November before I started dating seriously again. And so I took that time really to just focus on myself and focus on, you know, what I could have done different in that relationship, and focus on, you know, some of the issues we ran into and some of the stumbling blocks in that relationship, and how I can potentially pivot and be on a better foot moving forward. And I took that time because it was important for me to heal, because I want a healthy relationship. I want a healthy marriage, and I don't want to take baggage into my next. And it's crazy. My pastor just preached about Pastor Sean Ferguson. Shout out to Pastor Sean Ferguson, Faith Temple. He just preached about your next, your next. And so I want to take healthy habits into my next.
All right, so I want to do a couple things before we go too far. I just kind of want to clarify what you're seeing, as much fun as we're having, but this is typically the kind of talks that real men have when they get around each other in spaces like the man cave. It's not always just about sports. It's not always just about the frivolous things that you think, you know, men talk about. This is kind of why I wanted to open this space up, so that the mindset of purposeful minded men can be seen, you know, even as we chop it up and have fun, because I noticed when you put the cap on your age range, the chat went down by about 3 people for a second. Because they kicked 3 sisters off. Because once you put that 40 on there, it's like, oh, well, got to find me another broadcast.
Yeah.
But my sister, shout out to my sister. She asked a good question, and I want to remix it a little bit because we're dealing with a man's perspective today, and we do have some things coming for the ladies soon as well. But today is our day.
Praise the Lord.
Amen. And amen.
I want to ask the room.
Okay.
And we can let our guests go first.
Mm-hmm.
But she asked the question, what determines if a woman is broken? And I would remix it to say, what factors are we as men using to identify a broken woman? Because there are some things that we honestly could see and call broken that could just be things that we're miscategorizing.
True.
Just possibly.
Yeah.
Because somebody got to play the good cop for at least just a minute.
Yeah, for a minute.
But I would ask, what are the things that we as men are seeing and we go, oh, she's broken? Or what is it that determines if a woman is broken?
I want to say for me, the example I just gave, when I see someone that is treating me as if I am going to do a certain thing that I don't have a history of, or that she hasn't experienced with me, then my assumption in my mind is that came from somewhere, that there's some trauma that she hasn't dealt with. And I could be wrong about that. But whether it's coming from a place of trauma or not, the fact of the matter is that I should not be punished based on something that I did not do. I should not have a negative response from a woman based on something, a situation that I did not create or contribute to. And so for me, the thing that really jumps out to me is when, a woman is bringing distrust or anger or whatever from past dealings into a relationship with me where, the experience is completely different, and certain things that she had to deal with or worry about with someone else isn't really a concern with me.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Maybe I'm a little different. I'm careful to say broken for me, just like I don't like to call kids bad. They might be challenging. I think there's different factors for me, because some women, I believe, can be, for lack of a better word right now, I'll use broken. Some women can be broken from their FOO, family of origin, not even from past relationships. So I guess I have to see what it is that I'm looking at in this woman, because I know things that I can be deemed, for me, broken, but I have to have that mirror and look at myself. And with I guess a Sunday, right? Holy Spirit helps me realize those things that I'm broken or I need to work on. Same thing with like my wife. I ain't gonna say no details, but if, for example, if I see that she shuts down during arguments, there's something there that hasn't been resolved, that you don't want to talk about things to a certain extent, because you maybe think I'm going to criticize, or you think I'm going to make you feel some type of way, or I'm going to say something crazy and you just shut down, you don't want to talk. So I think it depends on where it comes from, or who it is, that because every woman is different. I don't want to say you got the same things she got to deal with, because everyone is different, every case is different. But I personally don't want to say broken, but there's things that I think everybody needs to work on. I mean, you're not gonna come in a relationship whole. I don't know nobody that has. Maybe I'm just different, but yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, and before I let Carter go, there's some good feedback being shared in the chat, so I hope y'all are interacting with each other as well. But I think one of the good things that was pointed out was that sometimes our word choice is triggering a response in how people are leading to the question. So when the accusation is you're broken, the connotation that's on that word is so negative
Yeah.
that it triggers a response in women that you're not going to get a positive response back from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now today we're probably not going to find the right word to use.
Yeah.
Just like we're probably not going to use the right word when we talk about our own issues.
Hmm.
When I talk about my own past relational experiences, I tell people that I was crazy for a long time. I know a lot of people don't like the word crazy,
Right.
but I know that my way of thinking and operating in relationships up until a certain point was wrong.
Mm.
Shoot, not even I was just talking to a good friend of mine the other night, and I told him, hey, I'm really just hitting a good stride with being a husband and a father. Like to where I feel like consistently there are boxes that I'm checking. And there are things that I'm overcoming that in the past I would have either succumbed to or really stumbled hard over.
Hmm.
And that's taken years of marriage, prayer, forgiveness, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So was I broke? Maybe.
Right.
And I wouldn't be offended if you called me that, but I can see where some people will get on here and say, who are you calling? Bro.
In need of healing.
There it is.
What are you? Go ahead, Carter. So what? I'm sorry. I just don't, Carter. I
Look,
love
I'm
Carter.
not
Man.
that.
Go
I'm
ahead,
not.
bro.
Listen, I'm not that bad, and these guys are making it seem like I'm terrible, but I'm not. And to be honest, we can be 100% honest and be 100% accountable. I've never really called myself experienced a woman that was broken unless I broke her, right? There are plenty of things that I've done in my past um, that could have what you would call break a woman or whatever. But what I can also say is that looking back on hindsight now, I can say that you know, I was the cause of a lot of that demise,
Mm.
or what I would call what people would now call that woman crazy or whatever it was. And unfortunately, you grow, you learn, you kind of get into yourself a little bit and you figure out the choices that you've made. You learn how to be a better man. You know, I learned how to walk different. You start to get around other men that know how to operate a little bit different.
Mhm.
You start to hold a certain kind of standard. And from that particular point, you know, I can go back and say, you know, well, I learned how to be better,
Mhm.
right? But the fact of the matter is, though, is the damage that I did doesn't always very quickly for them. They don't choose to heal. They don't choose to get over the madness. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it was ever a point to where I'm not going to say that she was broken or a woman that I had was broken. I can say I was a lot of damage that I caused
Mm.
that hurt her, and she never chooses. You know, she never choose to get over that pain or never choose to heal. Now, it might be selfish to me to say, um, you know, well, that's been years ago, or this happened long time ago, or whatever. But who am I to tell her how quickly she should be able to repair?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
One thing I think for us that I've had to learn that we had to do is be accountable for our actions. Because just as well as in a relationship or whatever we're in, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that. I've always been one to be accountable for my damage, but I also been always one to be accountable for my healing. So I don't choose to be impaired.
Mhm.
I believe that a lot of women out there, you know, that man or that experience that you had could have been bad. It could have been terrible. Understand. But at some point in time, you got to choose to stop being impaired. You got to choose to heal. You got to choose to step forward. You got to choose to leave that behind. You got to choose to grow. You got to choose to pray. You got to choose to fast. You got to make these particular choices so that isn't something that's holding you. You know what I'm saying? So I never say broken because I grew up with, you know, my mom and
Mhm.
you know, my stepfather left and all other kind of stuff. And I watched my mom go through some of the most terrible times, you know, but I just necessarily would, I never would say that she was broken, but I would look at my mom and say, Mom, when are we going to put our shoes on and go back outside and get to it?
So I think it's really interesting, especially with y'all two sitting next to each other. y'all kind of covered two sides of the same coin. Alton spoke from the perspective of a man who is running into a woman who has yet to fully deal with the fullness of the situations that she dealt with in her past. Where Rashad came in and said, "Hey, I'm the one who caused some of this stuff in the past." You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And can take responsibility for that.
That's
So
right.
my next question for Alton would be: is there a scenario where you can see yourself loving someone through those past traumas with enough patience, I guess, to help show them that you're not that, and help with the healing process? And not, I guess maybe that's an idealistic question, but from where you sit now
Mhm.
as a 34-year-old super successful, you know what I'm saying,
Come on,
eligible,
man.
Come
barred
on.
bachelor,
You the guy.
Undefeated.
Blowing me up, man.
Rub
Don't
them off
Undefeated.
on me,
blowing
man.
me up, man.
Undefeated champ.
do you see a scenario where you run into the things we're talking about and say, you know what, I see something in you that I can love you past that?
Absolutely. But I think that that might be a rare circumstance because it really depends. Because I'm someone that has developed an emotional intelligence. And so I have the ability to be able to kind of read how someone might be feeling, and I try to adjust and um, try to be careful with people's feelings and emotions. And but what comes with emotional intelligence is also understanding how people's actions and being able to articulate how people's actions affect me. And I think that um, a lot of men, we aren't really taught how to deal with emotions, and we're taught how to be logical people and how to think logically and move according to what makes logical sense. Um, but in doing the work, I've been working on increasing and growing my emotional intelligence. And when your emotional intelligence get to a certain point, um, you can foresee the issues and try to find certain solutions to the problems, but at the same time you're also more sensitive to how someone is treating you and how they're talking to you. And so I am probably more likely to dump someone than most men would be, to be quite honest with you,
Mm.
because of the fact that if I see that you have this particular issue that is going to trigger me a certain way, then I don't need to go any further with you. I can cut this off right here and be okay. But I think a lot of men not understanding, I don't like this, but I can't articulate why I don't like this. I don't like how this feels, but I don't know what it makes me feel. I think a lot of men just kind of deal with it until it either subsides or until it spills over
Mhm.
in a toxic way. And I'm just not someone that does that. And so for me, I could love someone through the healing process as long as the things that they're healing from aren't something that are going to put me in a predicament as well. Because I can love you through your brokenness, but I'm not going to let you beat me up through your brokenness. I can love you through your brokenness, but I'm not going to let you stab me and cut me and scar me in the process. And at some point, you have to care enough for yourself and that person to move in opposite directions. But I've been in relationships where it went past the point that it should have because I was trying to love someone through some things, and I realized almost every time, once it got to a point where okay, I just can't deal with this anymore. Um, I realized every time that it probably would have made sense to move on sooner.
Mm.
But there were situations where, you know, we could work this out. We can keep working on this, but we both have to be invested in doing so, you know? And um, I think that was one of the issues most recently, even, you know, both of us had to be invested in working through those things. And we weren't, you know.
So I gotta ask, and I'm gonna let fellas get in there with some of their stuff in a second. I have to ask, because we're dealing with brokenness and past trauma, and I'm just gonna keep it on us as men. You know what I'm saying? Since we in the man cave, you spoke to the type of man who will kind of let things fester until they don't know what to do with it and kind of snap.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the kind of man who kind of develops the reflex, like you mentioned, where if they see a sign, they'll hit the eject button, maybe sooner than they would have in the past. But based on the conversation we're having, could that kind of be a bit of brokenness also? Could it be?
It could be, sure. I think for me, I try to protect my peace, and that's important for me because I have lived in situations without peace. I remember being in a relationship once where my relationship with this woman was so bad. She was living with me at the time. My relationship with her was so bad that I would go to work until 5. And then I would come home, change, and go to the gym and play basketball until the gym closed at 9 p.m. hoping that by the time I got home, she was in bed asleep. Are we still rolling?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so, you know, being in that type of situation where my peace was in jeopardy, it was really difficult for me it's really difficult for me to see myself giving up my peace, which I value pretty much more than anything else, for a relationship that is not necessarily adding enough value to be able to go through that for.
I got you. And I like what you said there, man. Now let me ask you this. How many times, well, I shouldn't say it like that. How valuable you think just having peace is in your home? Because I know being single, you know, you get the chance to be able to, you know, choose what enters your space.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it takes a toll on you being alone. Sometimes some people don't want to be alone all the time, but you bring somebody else into your space, and you're pursuing a relationship with them, and you know sometimes your peace is disturbed slightly, but on the other side, looking in, to them is like, you know, we're learning each other, we're trying to grow with each other. You know, there are growing pains involved with us, you know, being living together. You know what I mean? And sometimes on the other side, I've heard that people think like, you know, you quit too early. You know, you didn't really try to stick things out so we can get an understanding for each other. You know, there are certain things that can change. You don't have to go to the basketball court, you know, until 9 p.m. every day, and you know, and come home if we can identify that your peace is being disturbed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, do you have that conversation first?
Well, absolutely. I remember having conversations about the issues. I remember going to counseling with her about the issues, and getting an intermediary involved. Like, so I'm not someone that walks away or quits easily. Generally, once I'm invested, I'm invested.
Okay.
And so to tell you that we had conversation after conversation, argument after argument, and even took those issues to counseling to try to get someone else involved in helping us to formulate solutions to the problem. I did all of that. But at some point, it got to be too much. At some point, the sacrifices of my peace were such that I wasn't being as effective at what I need to be doing. When I'm in a relationship and my girl argue with me first thing in the morning, and I got to go try a case, and someone's looking at 30 years to life
Jesus.
as a maximum penalty. If they get found guilty, I need to be in the right frame of mind when I leave the house for the day.
That's right.
You know, because someone's life is literally depending on me to get it right. And I can't be in a situation, for me specifically, because of what I do, because of my place in society, and because of where I am called to go and what I am called to do. There's peace is something that I have to have, because I already live a life that has more stress in it than the average man probably would. I don't even want to say average. I'm not trying to put myself
No,
above
you
nobody else.
ain't average, my man.
Then no, I'm a man like anybody else. My life comes with more stress than most people's lives come with, because I have more on my plate than a lot of people do. And as a result of that, there are certain things that I just refuse to deal with and cannot deal with when I get home, because those things cannot manifest themselves in the rest of my life in carrying out my business and going about my day. It just can't. I can't allow it to.
Man, you just said a whole mouthful, man. You just literally said a whole mouthful. I think that is the common thing that's on most men's mind every day. You know, there are plenty of times where, you know, life just seems like it's a lot. It seems like it's too much. You know, you're stressed out. You know, you're going through this and you're going through that. Your significant other is at the same time bringing up issues and wanting to go through the same things that you guys have been through over and over and over again. And it just seems like it's a cycle. I know for a lot of men, you know, whatever our duty is, we really take, you know, pride and heed to whatever that duty is. And we want to do it to the best of our ability. And everything that we have doing that, we tend to, you know, want to leave it there and not want to bring it home. We don't want to really bring it home. But, you know, there's a consistency of, you know, just madness sometimes for some men when they come home because of the problems and the issues. And it just seems like there's not really a scapegoat to do that. With a man as busy as you know, I can see that being even slimmer. How is the dating market, man? How's the dating market now? When's the last time you've been on a date?
When's the last time I've been on a date? I went on a date last night.
Okay.
I went on a date last night. Beautiful woman.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful young woman. Beautiful young woman. So I went on a date last night. It was a nice just dinner date. It was actually a part of a man, it's funny to say this. It's interesting. I didn't even want to bring this up. I was asked by a friend to be on a dating game show.
Oh, wow.
And so I was featured on a dating game show last night. And basically, I was on one side of a screen so that I couldn't see. And then there were 3 bachelorettes on the other side of the screen.
Oh, wow. So you got your pick?
And they were asking me questions and I asked them questions. And then I selected the one that, you know, that I seemed to vibe the most with. And we had a date at the end of the show. And the show paid for it. So I didn't have to pay for the date. So you didn't have to worry about the money.
You got to worry about the money. You got to worry about that $50 that Patrick will bring on his date. Didn't worry about that $50.
Didn't have to worry about that part.
We ain't gonna talk about it right now. Y'all gonna get off me my $50.
Well, that's cool, man. Do you see a big change in the dating market now? You've been single for a while or a couple of years, you said?
No, I've been single just since August.
Just since August.
I haven't been single for I haven't been single for a long time, and I haven't been dating a whole lot. Okay. But I have seen changes in the market since I started dating, because I started dating when I went to college. I didn't date in high school or before I went to college.
Never had a girl? Never had a girlfriend?
No, not before I went to college. I was a virgin until my second year of college, actually. Yeah, man.
My goodness. You had the hand of the Lord on it.
Listen, we're not gonna make it seem like that was a bad thing.
That's not a bad. That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. I just you don't see that a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Patrick?
Hey, just saying.
And so I didn't start dating until I was in my first year of college.
Okay.
At 17 years old, I went to the University of Florida and I started dating then.
Oh God.
And
I'm
so
sorry.
seeing what I was looking for back then as a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old in undergrad to what the dating market's like now at 34 is very different. But I think it's more than the market that has changed, because the market has changed, but I have changed as well.
Right.
And so as a result of me changing, the market looks different. The market could be the same for all I know, but I look at the market from a different lens at 34 years old, because when I was 17, I wasn't looking at a woman to discern her wifely qualities. What few men these days do. You know, back in the day when you graduated from high school, you married your high school sweetheart and, you know, started a life together. We're living in different times, obviously. And so what I was looking for when I was in undergrad, what I was looking for when I was in law school, when I was in law school, I was a hoe.
Oh,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
oh,
You know, I didn't have the ability to have a healthy relationship. And so I had fun. Sometimes at other people's expense. You know, you talk about contributing to a woman's hurt, contributing to a woman's brokenness. Law school was a time that those 3 years were a time when I knew I wasn't pursuing anything serious, and when I might have led people on unnecessarily, you know. And so,
where'd you go to law school?
FAMU College of Law. Go Rattlers.
Oh, thank God.
Go Rattlers.
I said, oh God, because that UF just sickens me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
We're not gonna get to
Patrick.
college football.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Right.
I just keep
I'm
going.
Still, I'm still Sal.
I don't want to deviate. It just
I'm still Sal.
sickened me when he said that.
Don't
My
start.
bad. I'm sorry.
All right.
Don't start about
I'm
the
sorry.
volunteers.
People in the chat. I'm so-
Volunteers.
Hey.
Don't start something.
Hey.
Don't do it.
Don't start.
We got a little bit of
Please
got a
let
little
him
bit of
finish.
housekeeping we need to do because while I was trying to feverishly fix the camera, work myself up into a sweat, we missed some chat content.
We did.
Oh, okay.
The
We did.
quality content. Okay.
First thing we gonna do, and we all gonna take our lumps on this one. If you have lumps to take, because I'm not gonna let this brother put it all on my dog.
Okay.
In what ways have you contributed to women's brokenness as a man? We gonna answer that question.
Okay.
If you can answer. Now we ain't gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We ain't gonna name no names. We ain't gonna give no timelines.
Sarah should have. Oh no, I won't put Sarah.
Hey,
I'm just
what you
kidding.
do with your business?
Right.
Your
For real.
business.
I'm just
If
kidding.
there's a Sarah that knows my brother,
I'm finna talk about having a 1996.
You ain't lying.
oh we.
So we're gonna answer that,
Okay.
and then because Rashad's wife is petty, there's a question we have to ask you.
That's me.
Yeah. we
Oh
have to ask
Lord.
you.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Okay.
I saw that
My
question.
wife's still in
They're
here. We got-
ridiculous.
What she post?
So
Before we even
I'll
get to
answer
it,
the question first.
I want to let me get one easy one out the way.
Sure.
There's some sisters in the chat that want to know where the dating game show is
Yeah.
and how they can get signed up for it. Let's get that out the way first.
Oh goodness gracious. My friend, her name on Facebook is Love Billups. Love Billups on Facebook.
Is that LOVE?
LOVE
Okay.
Billups, BILLUPS. She was the organizer of this show, and it was called, I think it was Ready to Love or Ready for Love or something like that. But it was basically a spinoff on some of those old dating shows that we used to watch back in the day, you know. Well, at least I used to. Used to be on MTV and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Just watch them
BET.
all.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
used to watch them too.
Yeah.
Remember
So-
Next?
Shout out to
That was my show. That was my
shout
show.
out to Love Billups. Y'all can do your own research. Don't leave the broadcast yet.
Yeah.
Put that in your notes.
Stay right here.
You know what I'm saying?
She does one every 2 months.
Oh,
One every
okay.
2 months. So that means that means y'all might get in there on Valentine's.
Now, does she
Day.
alternate between the main character being male, female, or?
No, it's always bachelors, and they choose from multiple bachelorettes.
Okay.
She, at least to this point, she hasn't had bachelorettes and bachelors.
Oh, okay.
But part of that probably
Chrissy
has to do with the market.
Antoinette, I see you in the chat. You come right back to this broadcast. Come back.
BRB.
Right now.
She left.
Yeah, it be your own family.
I was just gonna say that.
Right below
It'd be the ones that's related to you. You know
Somebody
that?
talk about some, yeah, I support what you do until
Speaking of Chris Antoinette, how old is she?
here. Let me show you my gun. Hold on. Y'all want to see what happens when the preacher and the lawyer got your MMA.
Ah,
Almost let one slip.
hey, you did. Well, hey, we
That's
gotta go
funny.
back and edit that.
Since you asked about my sister, let's go back to the question. How have you contributed to women's brokenness?
So I alluded to it just a second ago, actually, but when I was young and dumb, I know that I led women on and convinced them that I wanted something serious when I really wasn't ready and didn't really desire in my heart of hearts to have something serious at that time. And so from undergrad, probably through part of law school, because it was a certain point in law school where I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what I want. I'm gonna tell you what I'm here for. And either you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna find somebody else. But undergrad, probably through part of law school, it was, me leading people on. And having these women develop feelings for me when I knew that I wasn't really looking for anything or even ready for anything serious. And, at this big age of 34, to those who can call it that.
I'm 36, my man.
There we
It's
go. We
big.
right there.
I'm saying 36.
My mind is focused on something different. I've started building the foundation for something spectacular, and it would be great to have someone to build with.
Awesome. Next.
Oh, I thought you was gonna answer. Oh, you gonna go last?
Question, so I'm gonna go.
Last. Okay.
I'm gonna make my answer sound real deep.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't know. Rashad, he'll tell you. I've always been like that hopeless romantic. So it's always like, I want you, I like you, I love you. I'm trying to tell you.
The messed up part about that is he's not lying.
I'm not lying at all.
He's so serious.
I'll be like, I'll always be him like, bro, I love her.
No, you don't love her.
So I've been up front, and Pops has always taught me, he's like, don't play with a woman's emotions. If you don't like her, don't lead her on. Now I can tell you from marriage, probably in my early years, just saying, doing, because I had an idea of what marriage was, what a husband was, what a wife was. I probably did some things to I guess do some damage to my wife and in a broken area. So that's my best answer, because I don't know if I did. I tried my best to be straightforward, and I fall in love quickly. A little too quick.
Well, we just want to know that you have support in the chat, because Kiera said she's glad that you're married.
That's because I'm cheap.
We'll come back. We'll come back, and even one of our brothers who came on late was kind of asking what's the overall theme. Man, we just some brothers kicking it like brothers kick it when the cameras are off, and just trying to have the conversations that we have behind closed doors in a public forum, so that either we might help someone or so that people can get some understanding about how men think and about how men see the world. And we're really just kicking it on a Sunday, man, without football this time.
Yeah.
Just this time.
I'm still looking at
and we know this brother. We ain't gonna say his name, but we know this brother exclusively.
Yeah.
He can sing. I say that. He sure can sing.
All right. So look, let's I saw my wife. I'm gonna ignore that comment. Carter, go ahead, man. What ways
what ways have I contributed?
Contributed to women's
The
brokenness?
question is what ways have I not?
You want me to tell it? I was there
mean,
for a lot of it.
I mean, I was. You name it, I've probably done it, especially when we was young. I mean, one of my biggest problems has always been detaching myself emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That caused a lot of damage, because I went through a lot of women that not only did I have no intention of being with, but I was very straightforward, and I took women that were really green and didn't really have
did.
Shut up, boy. That really didn't have a past, didn't really have really at that time a future, didn't really know what they wanted to do.
I don't think I should be here for this
It's the
part.
truth. Didn't know really
I
what
don't
they
need to be here
wanted
for
to
this
do.
part.
And that particular time, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there was no holds barred. I mean, I've literally done it all. You know, done it all.
Don't look this way.
It's the truth. You know,
look, we ain't gonna tell it all.
I mean, I literally,
I just
literally
don't want
have
he
done
keep
it
looking
all.
this way. Like I don't know nothing.
I don't.
We ain't gonna do all that till we get a
Put it
picture.
like this. Patrick would tell you, I don't I've never sugarcoated, and I don't cut no corners.
And Kiara, please don't ask me no questions.
It's the truth. True. I don't really sugarcoat it, and I ain't gonna know.
Right. Don't message me after
don't
talk about.
cut no- I
Give
ain't
me a
got
couple of
no
them
corners.
stories. No, I
But
got nothing.
seriously, in all seriousness, just detaching myself emotionally allowed me to just operate in whatever kind of manner I wanted. And one thing that changed with me before, when I got with my wife, is that I cared a different way, and I don't think I've ever cared about anybody like I cared for my wife. Kiara, I know she's watching, but I'm not just gonna say this because she's watching. But what I'm gonna say is that she is everything I'm not. She completes me in the most powerful way.
Somebody got a tissue.
She is 100% the best of me and brings out the worst of me.
Oh my God.
She's the thing that keeps me together. And honestly, if it wasn't for my wife, I would be the ravishing dog that I was before I met her.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying? It was
dog.
her wholeheartedly the reason why I
DAWG.
said, man, I'm gonna have a purposeful relationship. I'm just being honest. She's the only woman that I ever dated with intent.
That's true. I can
one.
attest for that.
The only woman that I've ever dated with intent. I can't have female best friends or anything. Any woman that I've ever had as a friend, I hit them all. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth.
It's too late. You didn't put it out there now.
You know, I don't do that. But my wife, there's a level of intent that I had when I got with my wife, and there's nothing else that was more precious to me than what we have. I want what we have to work so bad. Like there is nothing else that I want more than us to be able to have a successful marriage. Everything, my children, y'all will never hear anything about me. Y'all never catch me or see me talking to some woman or anything. It's Kiara. I love her wholeheartedly.
Come on now, you better stiff arm him.
It's the truth, man.
Well,
I don't got time for
he
nobody
got
else.
people that's gonna hold him accountable.
That's right.
Listen,
My
I ain't
homie's
gonna let
hold
him
me
I ain't gonna let him do all that.
That's right.
First of all, she ain't finna kill me. Number one, and number two, I'll be honestly, because I know where he's come from. I wouldn't let him throw away something great like that, just like he would do for me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I've not been near the dog he has been, but he knows what Rashida has done for me,
Right.
And what she meant.
And beyond that, Patrick, you know exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of the things that I've dealt with.
Definitely.
You know, from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now that I never thought that I would be married. I never thought that I'd want just one woman. I never wanted kids.
That's
never
true.
wanted anything.
He was
Any
way,
of this kind of stuff.
He was way too late for that.
I know, but I never wanted any of that kind of stuff. Just being straight up, I never wanted it.
He was right out of high school, and he was way too late for that.
But after all this time,
I'm sorry.
I cherish, man. I'll punch a girl.
Yeah,
for my wife.
What?
God forgive me.
I'm
but
sorry. What did he just say,
bro? Just don't leave me alone.
Huh?
If it ain't about Kiara, I want
to back to the podcast.
I do not endorse battery.
And you got that friend like, yeah. I'm just saying, yeah, until that part. Like,
Man, I'm serious, man. I don't want no
now
problem.
you done gave her a little bit too much confidence. She out here saying, "You beg for this boy. We're not gonna." Hey, if you did,
I did.
You know
my son.
No, listen. I'm a
hey,
quick.
First of all, hey,
just
all
saying.
us in here done hit a little begging for the right one.
No, I still nah.
We ain't gonna speak for Alton.
Yeah.
He was about to say he's still begging.
Well, because I wanted a girl until
We're not gonna go down that lane just yet.
You want a
No.
girl till you have a son?
Well, I got two,
You got
so
two boys.
too busy. I got too much stuff. I ain't got
Check it
time.
out. I want to take a moment and shout out y'all in the comments once again for keeping it live. I want to shout out the homie Rashad. He's a little bit. It's another Rashad.
Oh,
My bad. I forgot that's that fast. He's another homie who's a little bit further ahead than us, but can relate, especially to where all of us are, where all of us have been, and has been putting wisdom in the chat. I want to shout out Julius has asked some awesome questions. One that we might dive into.
That's my best friend right there.
That's what I was talking about
Steve,
earlier.
my boy tuned in.
Hey, could sing too.
Oh yeah, I seen the video.
Mm-hmm.
I seen the video. I also want to shout out Renee just for keeping the godly perspective and offering prayers in the midst of the chat section. You know, because it's something we all need, no matter how far along on the journey we are, no matter how far back we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really just keeping it lighthearted because you know what I'm saying. I don't have the waiting to exhale soundtrack queued up. We're trying to keep the man cave just a little bit, man. Just a little bit. But man, I'll answer for me. I think when I really took the time to reflect on my former self, and even sometimes not too former, I positioned myself to be a man that I either was not ready to be or was not yet, far too early in life. And when I could no longer pretend to be that, it crushed every single relationship I was in. Whether the woman I was dating was older or my age, we're not gonna give no demographics.
joking.
Well, we've already put a cap on it for 40. You know, we've already put it's already a cap on there.
The only eligible one put the cap on there. Now, trying to get me in trouble.
You never told me how old Chrissy was, but we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna move
I
on
would
with the
tell you,
conversation. I
can't tell you that the gun I have on me now carries about 14 plus 1. So yeah, just posturing myself to be something that I wasn't is the number one way that I damaged the women that I dealt with. And even in my dog years, trying to be a good man to more than one woman is damaging.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we hate to admit it, trying to posture and position yourself as the good man for more than one makes you the very thing that they're trying to avoid.
I like men like y'all. See,
First of all, don't
I'm
give me
just
too much
saying.
Well,
Listen,
he just did an oxymoron. He tried to be a good man to more than one woman at a time.
what is that? That's what I was gonna say.
How you do that? How you be a good man to two of them?
And why?
Three of them.
Why are you working so hard? Why were you working so hard? Why you gotta be a good man to more than one? I'm not gonna do that.
I'm sorry.
Sherrod say,
I
bro, I was
just-
about to ask the same question.
What is he talking
Like
about?
he said it, I heard it. I was like,
I was trying.
that ain't math, ain't math right there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to be a good man to more than one. I was like,
I done skated by some of y'all answers. Y'all gonna press on me. Let's set this up.
I can see if the relationship is fresh and you just dating. It's casual. You know what I'm saying? You're not in there yet.
Yeah.
But my boy had multiple relesships.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
I ain't mad at you.
I did not say that.
A girlfriend and a baby mama on the side. I'm just
What kind of lawyer are you?
Right.
Somebody else.
oh,
So
man.
I just want to point out these two. If yo wise, I am not a part of this
Oh,
past.
here you go.
I just
You
want to
said
let
you're
you know.
trying to
I'm the
associate
good
behind
friend.
us. Boy, she the boy. I'm sorry, Alex.
Yeah, man, you good. We're good.
Keep
Brother
going.
Julius, we're getting there. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of on a journey, and we're getting ready to get to the promised land, as you might call it. But the thing was, because we have our brother Alton here. Alton, see that? I told you the beach side was gonna slip out.
It'd be like that
But
sometimes.
because we have you here, man, sometimes it's just good to have the honest reflection of where we were and just kind of be real about some of the mistakes we made, because there's not enough people telling us about their mistakes and how they got over. I don't like to jump straight to the testimony as some people do. I've become keen enough not to tell all my business, but at the same time, a lot of the relatability comes in when you're willing to meet somebody where they are, or to show somebody where you've been, and then paint the whole picture, not just here's where I am now.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I'm saying the same.
You know what I'm saying? I told him when he told me about the podcast, I live pretty much at the word "to" in the title of the podcast, from center to saint. It's the journey, and to be able to navigate all sides of it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we do. And that's kind of what helps bring us along, to know that, hey, we're really not all that different when we look at the experiences that we came from.
Yeah.
And even though we may be different ages when we hit different stages, we all really have similar experiences when we get down to the nitty gritty. The question becomes, how do you overcome? When did you get there? And things of that nature. And we got some other great things to talk about. But before we even dive all the way into that serious end of the pool, Kiera had a question earlier.
What you do?
That was
I saw it.
from one of our previous broadcasts.
Oh, you, bro.
So now, Alton, this is your opportunity to keep some of these women in the chat. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you done made a couple jokes about Chrissy Antoinette. Your answer to this next question is going to determine whether she calls Love Billups or Love Actually.
Oh my God. Talk to
How
me.
much is the appropriate amount to spend on a first date?
Oh,
Not in theory. I'm talking about, let's just say a young lady meets Alton Edmond,
I'm
Esquire,
crossing my legs on this.
and he asks her out on a date. What is the ballpark in which attorney Alton Edmond is willing to spend?
So it really just kind of depends on the circumstances. But I'll give you a couple real life examples, because I've been in this dating market since August, so I've been on a couple first dates. I give you two examples. One young lady, we met up and we played miniature golf. That was, I want to say, $30 a piece. And then I took her for couples massage.
Okay.
And that was $80 plus a $40 tip. So that's 60 plus 120, that's 180. And then I took her to dinner, and that was about $50. So 180 plus 50, 230. And I traveled about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. And so you gas, wear and tear. You can add another $20 for gas. So about
that boy itemized that
about
thing like he's writing it off on his taxes.
You asked the question, so I'm giving you a breakdown. So that was one date. Another, I took her to. I'm trying to make sure I got the right order. I took her to an escape room, which was, I think, like $30 a person. So it's like 60. I took her to lunch, which is less expensive than dinner. So I think that was maybe 30. So 60 plus 30, 90. And then I took her axe throwing, which I think added up to maybe 60 or 70 as well. So 90 plus 70, 160. So 250, 160. Two different first dates.
All right, before we turn it over to Patrick, Before we turn it over to Patrick for a response, I just want you to know that his budget was blown by the third time you swung that miniature golf club.
But that was it. He was done when y'all got in.
Done for miniature golf.
And
You
this
don't
is
see me
this is why you need somebody like Rashad in the chat, because before we even got the naming, he said, "Why does there have to be a limit?"
So, but I also want to say this though, because I don't think that's necessarily that my numbers should be the same for everybody, you know, because not everyone's in the same position, you know. I mean, if we're being honest, you know, I'm an attorney. The average attorney in the state of Florida makes $100,000 a year.
Don't put your full.
Most people don't make that. Right?
That's
And
6
so
digits.
on top of being an attorney, I also run other businesses. I own several properties that I rent out. I gain rental income from those. I'm also a motivational speaker, and I bring in income from that motivational speaking business. I also invest in stock, and I have stock that pay me a monthly dividend. So I have income coming in from multiple sources, and my income is probably a lot higher than the average person. So a $250 date to me is maybe
a $2,500 date to me.
1% of my income.
1%.
Two on that, Patrick.
1%.
Yeah, 100% of my income.
Two on that.
So
Two on that.
So it's just different.
1%.
I can't. I do love the dates though. Those, I mean, it sounds very entertaining.
Hey,
I
before
appreciate it.
you
It was nice.
I enjoyed
myself.
before you respond, I just want you to know my wife.
Oh, I've seen.
You tapped out on the drive.
Listen, hey,
Drive.
hey,
Drive.
right, she right.
Money.
I'm like, yeah, send me your address. Wait, allow it to 45. Man, just FaceTime me.
All right, so now let's just for our hearing pleasure, Patrick. Let's just say, God forbid, you had to take somebody on a first date today.
Don't do him like that.
Go ahead, Patrick.
No, we gonna do
Don't
it.
be on this side.
I ain't ashamed.
Here.
I ain't
Let's hear
ashamed.
Say it in front of.
Let's
Say it in front of
hear,
Al.
let's hear
Go
a
ahead, say it.
typical
Tell him.
first date with
Tell him what you said.
Patrick Williams II.
Ice cream.
Go ahead. Tell him.
Almost Esquire.
Ice cream. Walk on the beach. Done.
I like Cold Stone.
Hey, listen, just come to me full. Don't come to me expecting to get full. First, this is my first date.
Come to me full. See what I'm talking about?
All right, listen, this is my logic. I was raised very simple. My mom was very simple. So
Your dad didn't spend $50.
my daddy, listen, don't that you're right, because they went to dates as a couples.
What I want you to,
'Cause
what I want
he
you-
say.
What I want you to do, first of all, is don't try to bring Bishop Williams players down. Bishop Williams been smooth ever since I know him.
You're right.
I'm not
But-
gonna let you take him
But
down.
no, but he was safe. So they went on dates with other married couples. It was always chaperoned. That's how he come old school. My mom's very simplistic, and that's how she taught me to be. First date, I need to get to just know if this is going to be something I would consider or you would consider doing again. So I just want to get to know you. Or, check this idea out. Ladies, you ain't gonna like this. You ever heard of the 90-day rule that women do? You know, I ain't gonna get none in 90 days. I ain't saying this right. We gonna do 90 days ain't spending nothing rule. Yeah, right. I ain't spending a dime for
Cut his
90
mic off.
days.
Cut his mic off right
Until,
now. You hear what he said?
until
Cut
we
his
get to
mic
know, because that's an investment for me.
Ice cream costs money. You said ice cream and a walk on the beach.
That's okay, realistically, right? That's what I'm gonna do.
Cut his mic off. You heard what this boy just said?
Wait, I had a really
You gotta-
good first date years ago at an ice cream Baskin Robbins, right there with the Dunkin' Donuts. It was beautiful.
Oh,
gotta
so it
fast
wasn't
your
even
pockets
a
for 90
standalone
days.
ice cream
Well,
shop.
we
It was a combo ice cream shop.
Boy, I ain't never heard nothing like this, boy.
Listen, somebody talked about my voice being high pitched. I led praise and worship this morning, so I'm hoarse. So I really don't have a lot of voice. So this isn't my normal speaking voice, but it is what it is. So don't pick at me too much.
This boy said,
and they
First
making
90
fun of me
days.
because Grind and Grape is a very good establishment
First 90 days.
where
First
you can
90
get a nice flatbread and a drink and listen to some live music so we can still talk and enjoy each other's company. I know they're going hard on me in the chat, but that's okay.
Somebody said Somebody said ice cream from his own freezer.
That's my baby right there. That's my baby. She's been on
Ice
many hot
cream
prices.
from his own freezer.
I'm just saying, but I mean, I'm in a different, but at the same time, Alton, I've been out the game for so long. 36. I've been with Rashida since I was 20. I wouldn't know what to do now. Then Applebee's and Chili's was acceptable. Then the movies was okay. Now they got a whole list of places you can't take them to: Cheesecake Factory, bowling.
I'm gonna take you somewhere on the list just to see if you here to get to know me or for to be impressed by what I can do. I'm gonna take you to somebody else, somewhere on the list just for that.
I don't think there's no problem with it. But Patrick is just so like.
Because my money has to be intentional. Why can't we go make ice cream together for a first date?
Because don't nobody feel like making no ice cream on the first date.
That's what I'm saying. Like
They
we
hungry,
can't think outside the box. Like
Listen,
every first
when you
date don't
say
have to
date,
be.
When you say date,
Yeah.
they don't need to. You're saying when you go, if you was go out on the first date now, they need to come to you full.
You know what date means? Do anything that's effective.
I didn't know
I'll
Mrs.
give 'em that.
Butterworth's had an ice cream.
I'll give
chain.
you.
You could go make your own ice cream.
I just made it up on the fly.
Did you?
Yep.
Well,
But
that
if
sounds
it's
simple, okay.
effective, it works.
Veronica say, "Take me to Cheesecake Factory, please."
Hey,
I
See?
like that.
Hey man,
Go ahead.
That's what I'm
Veronica.
talking
You
about.
better say
the
that.
next episode of Love Villa.
And she sang her behind off.
Hey,
Sang her
li-
behind off.
She can't. But y'all listen, y'all ladies be lucky because I know some dudes. If we go on a date and if you don't drive, if you drive, they trying to Dutch. You pay for yours, I pay for mine. I do know some brothers like that.
you'll throw that $50 out there.
Hey, 50, right?
So may I qualify something right quick?
Go ahead.
So when Patrick was talking, he was talking about how that first date is to get to know the person. So we live. You have been off the market a while.
Wow.
I live in a different age where, usually a lot of people I've met through someone else or online or something like that. So we're talking on the phone, we're FaceTiming, we're messaging, we're having conversations maybe for weeks before we ever meet in person.
Gotcha.
So we've kind of established that, okay, this is someone I'm interested in meeting and getting to experience something with. So I just to put that disclaimer out there, it's not like I'm taking someone to do all of that I've never had a conversation with.
So Alton, because Alton.
His name is Alton.
But listen,
I'm saying,
but everybody that know me know I'm country, straight up country. Alton, is this not a thing anymore? When you see a lady, a woman that you're attracted to, and you go up to her, hey, I just had to come up here and say I think you're very beautiful. Would you mind if I get your number and your name and take you out on a date? That's not that people don't do that no more.
I've done it. I've done that plenty. But I think it just really depends on the circumstances because if I see a woman out and she's with other women, that's a different situation. I'm probably not going to approach her.
Oh, it's sniper time.
Then, you know what I'm saying? Because then I got to deal with the friends potentially blocking me or something like that. And so it just really depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
For me, I wouldn't just go up to anybody, any place, any time to approach them in person. It would just really depend on the circumstances.
I got you.
Patrick ain't never do that anyway. I just wanted to put that out.
First of all, I did it. I did it sometimes when he went around. Rashad is pressure. He pressures me in ways that I don't like to be pressured. Yeah, huh? Because he'll be like,
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
yeah, but let me take them in my range, okay? Because you want me to snipe then, and I'm just trying to clean the gun first, okay? Let me.
Do you not remember these moments, my man?
Oh, I remember all of them.
Remember
I remember every last one of them.
These moments where Patrick he's screaming in the car. We're driving by. Listen, we are driving by somebody he likes, and he yells out the window, "I love you." Boy, slow down.
Oh my God.
Stop, bro. What's going on? I'm oh, that should go right there, bro. Listen, if I could just tell your wife about just going to some of the concerts, or they go Rashida, I love her.
Hey, one quick story, Bird. So before I started dating my wife, me, Carter, we went down and Slick to the college, but they had a concert. We all went to Sonic.
Oh yeah. I remember.
And she's at another table with her friends. We at a table. We ain't even talking about her. My ignorant self just goes blood out. Rashida don't want me. Out of nowhere. She said, I'm glad you know.
Dang.
And the way my so-called friends laughed at me then.
Jesus.
Oh, it was embarrassing, but I married her though.
You
married
Hey,
her,
I
though.
got
See
him.
that?
I got him.
You got the last laugh.
Hey, ha.
Apparently, it took a while to start
Look,
laughing.
I'm kind of listen. I'm kind of mad that he ain't even mentioning the pressure that got him there.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not gonna do this every podcast. What happens is Patrick will leave out certain details. Rashad ain't having it.
No, he's not.
I'm not
Because I'm trying to just get to the beginning,
Listen,
middle,
anyway,
end. He's trying to get all in between the stuff.
because I just want to make sure that everybody know. You know what I'm saying? All of the details because brother, you I'm happy for you. But
I'm
boy,
there.
Boy, I pushed you over the edge.
I'm there now.
I pushed you in the pool.
Why they laughing at you? Why they laughing at
I
Yeah.
pushed my dog in the
But
pool.
see, the same person that has caused me great success also has caused me great heartache in relationships
Hey, I
too.
don't. Hey,
So
I didn't say
let's just throw that out
hit all
there.
the time. But I will shoot.
Well, according to Alex, I only got 15 bullets, so I don't need to be just throwing them out there.
My bad.
Yeah, we good, man. Look, so I want to get to before we run out of Aquapana. I want to
I'm just
get
gonna drink
to.
this, Alex.
Go ahead. We in the pancake cups of formality. But thank God I got another bottle. So there was a post Alton put up, and I think this is a good place to kind of wrap up the discussion for this particular broadcast. But there's a post. I'm going to read it because I don't have the ability to display it right now without coming and leaning over the camera. But he writes that he was feeling thoughtful. He has a very thoughtful pose on the post also. This is from that Marlon photo shoot I told you.
Charlie.
Yeah, he just redid the post.
Black Panther,
He's a
T'Challa.
bad man. But he says, I need men to stand on business in 2024. You have every right to expect care, consistency, emotional intelligence, consideration, personal growth, healing from trauma, and healthy communication from your partners. If they call you zesty for having standards, setting boundaries, and holding them to them, then go find you a better fit. And here's where he really gets in trouble. The ratio of eligible, qualified, and available single women compared to eligible, qualified, and single men is too greatly in your favor for you to have someone playing in your face. I'm praying for us, followed by a series of hashtags for which we'll just end standing on business. So I want to give you a chance to elaborate on what you said and to stand on it, figuratively speaking.
I said what I said.
Said what he said. Man.
Can we drop the mic? Can we drop the
Don't
they gonna
drop
drop
that
this?
either. We'll bring another mic for you to drop.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. See, look, we got pushback already. Qualified is where he lost me.
Ooh.
Sponsored by Mrs. Carter.
She married. How she know?
Uh-oh.
Oh. Oh.
She ain't in the
And-
market. So she is not the person that's out here assessing who's qualified and who's not qualified.
Speak the word, sir.
I would assume her information is coming from secondhand sources. And you can't make a reliable assessment based on secondhand sources. You got to be in the market. All right. And the thing is, a lot of like people, birds of a feather flock together, right? You know, you say that I'm successful, whatever. I spend my time around other successful people. I got a handful of friends that are around my age, that are professionals, that have multiple degrees, that are doing good things, and that want to be married and that want family. You know, and that are frustrated with the market and some of the things that we're seeing in the market, you know? And so every time I make a post about women, they jump down my throat. They attack me, you know? So this post was aimed at my fellas and at us. Listen, I'm not going to talk about women and what they need to do because I'm not a woman and I don't ever plan on being one because we live in a time where people change their mind. But I can speak to men and I can ask us to hold ourselves and to hold each other more accountable. And that was the purpose of that post.
Let me ask you this: what kind of advice would you give to women that are trying to find somebody that's qualified or want to be a wife or want to be in in a healthy, long-lasting relationship, that want to be married? How would they, how do they get themselves prepared to be with a guy like you or somebody that's qualified?
I was watching a YouTube video. David Mann, for those that don't know who David Mann, that's Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, yeah.
From the Medea plays and movies. But Mr. Brown said, he went to a church and was talking to women. Him and his wife, they go and they do like marriage seminars and stuff, him and Tamala Mann. And he was talking to a room full of single people about marriage and all of this stuff. And he said, raise your hand if you want a good man that makes six figures, that do this, that do that, that has this, that's caring, that's loving, that's consistent, that's all of these things. And he said all the women in the room went crazy. He said, okay, if you want that man, I'm going to give you the secret. Become the things that you want in the man that you're looking for. And the room went silent. It wasn't as much celebration then. It's easy to say that you want an emotional, intelligent man, but it's harder to go to counseling. I still go to counseling. Now, I went to counseling more often when I was going through something. I'm not going through nothing right now. So I go once every 2 months now just to check in, but I still go to counseling. It's easy to say you want an emotionally intelligent man, but it's harder to go and get the counseling and do the things that you need to do to make sure that you are emotionally available for an emotionally intelligent man. It's harder to make sure that you're working through the issues that you need to work through to make sure that you don't run off an emotionally intelligent man, because I'm going to see those issues and I'm not going to deal with the same stuff that someone that's not as emotionally intelligent may deal with, like we talked about earlier. And so I thought that was really good advice. Work to become the character traits that you want to find in someone. You want someone that's caring. You want someone that's loving. You want someone that's considerate. You want someone that's consistent. You need to practice those things. You know how much it bothers me when I have my first conversation with a woman and it's like, I want somebody that's consistent. And a week passed before I get a couple of days passed before I get another message or text or call from her. You want somebody that's consistent. Well, you need to be consistent yourself.
You got to send the text message first, though.
Show me that you're consistent if you want consistency. But a lot of people are asking for things that they're not willing to give.
Say that one more time for me.
A lot of people are asking for things that they're not willing to give. They're asking for what they see as too hard for them to become themselves, and then wonder why they don't get it.
I'm trying not to scream. I'm trying to keep my cool because you spitting nuggets.
Y'all don't hear me.
You spitting game, man. You spitting game
because you're giving them. Listen, you're giving them for real. Like, I'm tired of women trying to tell men how to be men. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let the man do that.
And change my mind about this.
Change it. Hey.
Change my mind.
How many times did we see that? How many times did we see it?
You ready? This is Rashad's change my mind. Change my mind. Women give the worst advice to other women about men. Change my mind.
I would say to enhance that, damage women.
No.
Give the worst advice.
There y'all go.
I ain't gonna
triggering words.
Change my mind.
Because I believe if there's women that have done that work, they give great advice, that do that counseling, that are accountable. They give great advice because they can pass that down, what to do, how to handle, how to consider. But have you been, what was the word we used today? Broken. I don't need a broken woman giving another woman advice.
See, I don't even know. I don't even know if a good woman can give you advice on a man, because this good woman that's been married for 50 years can tell you how to please her man.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But she can't tell you how to please me.
Exactly.
Because I want something different. I probably want something different than what her man wants from her.
But every man wants respect.
Respect. Every human being wants respect.
True.
You know, and so there's some things that humans just want. People want respect, kindness, you know, those general basic things.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be given those things. I mean, that's clear. But if you want to know what a man wants, you need to talk to him about it.
That's true.
You need to get to know him. You need to see what he likes. If you know this man is frugal, it might make him feel really good if you did something nice for him every now and then, instead of expecting him to always be the person to do something nice for you. Because I'm a frugal person, not on first dates, but I'm a frugal person in general, in that I live a much simpler lifestyle than I could be living based on what I make, right? And so because of what I do and because of what I make, a lot of women assume that I can do lavish things and that I'm going to do these lavish things for them. And every now and then I might, depending on our relationship. But very rarely do women actually do something nice for me or get something nice for me. You know what happened to me the other day?
I saw it.
Saw it?
I was just gonna bring it up.
You saw it?
Wait, look, you go ahead and talk about it. Man, look here.
A few days ago,
Kool-Aid smile.
A few days ago, a young lady sent me a edible arrangement.
Oh wow.
With a nice little note, because I was talking with her, and I was like, listen, the next few days are gonna be crazy busy. And she was like, what you got going on tomorrow? And I screenshotted my schedule, and it was meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, court in the morning, meeting after meeting,
Wow.
wrestling practice, and then after wrestling practice, I had choir rehearsal. So I literally was moving that day from 6 a.m. and I didn't get home from choir rehearsal that night until about 9:30 p.m. My day was nonstop except for a 1 hour lunch break. And so she sent me an edible arrangement and said, I know you like to eat fruit. Here's some fruit so that you don't have to go to the grocery store, because I know that you're really busy. And something like that, it was a simple thing. That edible arrangement might have cost $30-$40. I'm not sure how much it cost. It didn't cost as much as the $250 date I took her on.
Right.
But it meant probably more to me, because it was very thoughtful in that moment. And it was timely and considerate. And when I talk about becoming and being what you want men to be to you, that was a great example.
So can I ask you this? I know you don't have kids. I'm sure I said something about women giving women advice. So then we would have to open up, in a sense, Pandora's box about women giving daughters advice.
Well, she's a woman and the daughter's a girl.
So are we saying that the mothers that are giving our daughters advice is not good advice?
Go ahead, Alton.
Well, so there's a caveat, and here's why. When a daughter has a good father that she looks up to,
right,
she looks for a man like that. And so a mother teaching her daughter what a man like, the type of man that she would want to be, would want, or what would appeal to him, that's different than a woman speaking to a woman about a man who she doesn't know and what he might want. So those are two different things.
Okay, gotcha.
But in that circumstance, it makes perfect sense, because daddy's little girl is going to grow up to want a man that embodies the characteristics of daddy.
Right.
And who better to teach her what that type of man might want than the one that kept him happy for 20, 30, 40 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's just my thought.
And it's a different level of advice that we would probably consider wise counsel. There's a difference between advice and wise counsel.
Yeah.
a lot of times when you look laterally for advice somewhere, it's not always wise, even amongst brothers. But what happens when you go to a level up from you is typically, I'm just going to say typically, because I'm in a good mood. Typically, when you go up the chain, you're going to get wisdom back in return.
Gotcha.
It's not universal, but that's typically the better route to go.
Yeah. To clarify what I was saying earlier, Patrick, is this when I'm sick, I go to the doctor. Right? When I need to fight somebody to fight one of my cases or something like that, I hire a lawyer. When I'm you know, when I need my car fixed, I go to a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
When I need to know about how men operate and what's best for a man, I need to talk to a man. Right?
Yeah.
Often a woman will go get advice from another woman in regards to that particular man or men, period. When there's a there's a thing between us that we all have. There's some things that I can say to you to build you that I can guarantee you your wife has no idea how to articulate. That's not any shots at your wife.
Right.
But I know how to build you because I'm a man. Right? Where you struggle and where you fall, I know how to build you. Right? I know how to lift you. To get that kind of advice on to doing that, you probably should go get that from another man. Right? Where she may want you to level up at, and way she thinks pestering you or something like that might be how she gets you there. Ain't gonna get you there. But she called Rashad on the phone. Me and you could have a different conversation, man to man, and I know how to articulate what she's trying to get to you. Right? Men, you want to know about men? You want to figure out what you need to go talk to a man.
Okay, good point. Because I guess I'm maybe missing the point. Because I saw this thing with Ayana, right? You know who that is. Yep. So this lady was trying to tell this man about what his kids were doing, that she was a stepmom to, and she stopped her because the way she was talking to him was wrong. It was almost like attacking. She said how it should have been said. The way you are displaying what your kids, what you want, is not what they're showing. And she said it in a demeanor, in a calmness, to where I even received it. Now, I'm wondering, is that where I'm missing? Are you saying women shouldn't get, or women giving bad advice of what men want or how to treat a man?
Typically, the sources that a lot of people go to for advice are not on the level of Ayan Levan's.
That's true. That's true.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not to put her on a particular pedestal, but there is a pedigree and a level of knowledge and experience on both sides of the coin to where she can see something and identify it on a level that the average person doesn't, unless they've spent time studying relationship dynamics, communication, psychology, and things of that nature. There's a lot that went into Ayanla in that moment, fixing that on the spot.
Right.
Whereas a lot of people we go to get advice from, sometimes it's thoughtless. And it's just an emotional reaction to a limited story or a limited perspective that they don't even have all the information for.
That's true.
That's why I've even had to learn to be careful not to just jump off the ledge and give people advice when they've told me a story. You've got to ask probing questions, because any of y'all could come to me and paint a picture from your perspective, but even though your perception is your reality, it may not be the actuality of the whole situation. Because otherwise we would just be sitting here training each other to kick each other's backs in all the time. So that's why it's important to have someone who can observe the whole situation rather than just sit here and speak to it, because let that be somebody else observing that situation, And they could have just jumped right on the man and be like, "You're not even listening to what she's saying."
Right.
But you could see the despair because we seen the video. You shared the video with me. You could see the despair in that brother's eyes, like, "Here we go again." With
Yeah.
this. Then Ayanna came over there to that side of the room, touched him on his shoulder a bit, and said it calmly. And it's like, that brother melted.
Yeah.
Now,
And his wife was crying as Ayanna was doing that.
She was, yeah.
She was crying while Ayanna was speaking life into this man and doing what she had been failing to do.
because
That was
it's
heavy.
a light bulb moment. Because even in my own relationship, I've had to learn that a certain language is not going to get the best out of my wife.
Right.
And I have to understand my own tendencies to either be quick-tempered or overly direct, or I can't talk to my wife like she's a man.
Right.
Quite honestly.
Right.
Like, say for example, we got this ongoing thing with Carter and the cameras. Carter, where are the cameras? Show me the cameras.
Yeah.
Where are those bleepity bleep cameras?
Right.
I'm
I
coming
brought one
over.
today.
Yeah.
I'm coming over to get the camera.
Yeah.
If you don't bring me these cameras, I can talk to him like that. We can laugh, have a good time. By the time I get to the third, where the bleepity bleep of the cameras, there's gonna be some furniture moving and some trouble in the house.
Yeah.
But if I just ask my wife, hey, you walk up with the right tenor, the right tone, the right attitude, there's a way that you get more out of her.
Right.
And one of the biggest problems that exists between the male and female dynamic is that people don't seek to understand. They only seek to be understood.
Right.
Which is why I love the example he gave about the sister who bought him the edible arrangement.
Yeah.
Man, admittedly, I'm overweight, so it's not hard to see. I don't eat enough fruit. Let my wife send me a edible basket at work or something. I'll be beaming with pride.
Come on,
Right.
man.
Hey, my baby got me this fruit. I want a grape. Don't nobody want a grape, little honeydew.
I got some extra pineapple if you need some.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just looking to understand that, hey, this is something that this person appreciates. And when you start to do that from the beginning, trying to learn someone and giving them the opportunity to learn you, it makes all the difference than only trying to get someone who gets you.
Right.
Because that goes back to your conversation on becoming what you're looking for.
Mhm.
Just looking for someone who already has it.
That's good, man. That's really good, man.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that, man. I mean, I'm not saying that, not saying at all. You know, I just think that just naturally it's a given to go to the source to get the advice. You know, I no way, shape, or form can I tell a woman how to be a woman. Right? I just can't even articulate the emotions, the feelings that they have for what they feel with this and that. I can't do that. But what I do know is how to be able to talk, respond, to be able to go back and forth with a man, because I am one, right? And if you trying to figure out what your man wants or how to get the best out of your man, why not go talk to another man? Why not have that conversation? Because I see oftentimes where the advice that's given, you know, from woman to woman, I hear two women giving advice to each other in regards to something that might have happened or just conversing between each other about men. And I listen to them like they have no idea. They have no idea how easy we can flip the switch on his intellect, or we can flip the switch on his perspective by going about saying things this way. And part of me started to think that, you know, why is it that they don't, you know, go to the source to be able to get the information? You know, why go get that information from somewhere else? Because, you know, I have two daughters. There's nothing I can't do any. I tell you what, I can raise them and I can give them counsel and guidance. But when it comes down to being a woman, there's nothing I can do to show them that. They're gonna have to. I mean, they can get that from their mom.
Yeah.
You know, that's not just what I can do. In regards to relationships and all that other kind of stuff, because I know that's coming from my oldest. You know, for a boy on the man's side, then I can be able to articulate her how things should happen, how we should, how you guys should communicate, how he's thinking. I can do that. But I often see this consistency with, girl, he did this and he ain't no good. He did this, he did that, and all that kind of stuff. Then you hear the in-betweens and realize, man, there's a two-way street here. If you want him to be better in this area, let me tell you how to speak life into him so he can be better in this particular area. Right? Let me tell you what you need to tell him, how you need to talk to him to be able to get the best out of him. Because I believe that are some fantastic men out here that are going through a lot of things in their relationships. And I believe that it is a lot of things could be sorted out probably pretty easily.
And maybe the answer, it could be both.
But,
Or both.
Yeah, it could probably sort out pretty easily for his his side.
Because I'm not going to.
Because we're in the man cave.
Yeah.
I gotta say, cluelessness is probably a bit of a pandemic in itself.
Yeah.
There are a lot of clueless male advisors also.
Yeah.
That are trying to do this alpha dominant, high value man stuff.
Oh yeah.
Before you even get to the point where you actually become the type of man that you're perpetuating yourself to be. And you think just because you spent a couple hours a week watching somebody lie to you about who you are,
right,
that you're just going to stand up in your house and be something that you haven't earned the right to call yourself.
Right.
And then so now you got, in a lot of households, two clueless people arguing with each other and then getting advice from other clueless people.
Yeah. That's true.
What I've seen a lot, you were talking about people going to people to get advice. And I think what I've seen a lot, and I've seen it more from women, but I've seen men do this too. A lot of people surround themselves with people that think just like them.
Echo chamber.
Yeah.
And so they go to people to get advice to reaffirm what they already think and what they already want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to slash his tires. Girl, let's go.
Slash his tires.
Instead of
Yeah.
surround yourself by people that challenge you. My friend Julius that's in the chat, that's been commenting in the chat, he's very different from me. Very, very different. Almost opposite. And so when I go to him, I have two really close friends, Julius and Clinton. When I go to them, I can expect very different advice from them both. But I go to them both when I want to talk about things because both of them challenge me in different ways. Clinton's walk with the Lord is better than mine is, admittedly. And so when I am facing situations, I know that he's always going to take me to the book. He's always going to take me to the word, and he's always going to give me that spiritual perspective. My friend Julius is very different in his own right. And because we're so different, he often challenges my thinking. He's often coming from the opposite perspective. And so when I say, I'm thinking this, she said this, and this is how I feel about it, and this is what I'm thinking that I want to say. He's like, well, why would you say that? Have you thought about, because he's very different. So he was raised in a household full of women, and his dad was in the household as well. But he was raised with his dad, his mom, and two sisters.
They speak the language.
And so for him, he will often say, well, have you considered that she might be thinking this? Because he, more often than I do, thinks about and considers what the woman's perspective is, because he has he has a deeper connection to that perspective because of the way he was raised. And so he challenges me all the time, and I need that. There have been times when I was steaming about something, and he gave me some perspective, and it just completely calmed me down when I was steaming. But I don't surround myself with people that are do boys that just echo what I'm thinking.
Right.
I surround myself with people that give me different perspective, so that when I go to them with a concern, I leave with perspective. I leave with two completely different ways than I think, about the issue that I'm facing. And I try to take those into account when I actually try to work through the issue and attack it.
Yeah.
And the problem is too many people, because I don't know if it's insecurity. I don't know if they just don't want to be wrong. I don't know what it is. And honestly, that is not my battle to fight or my hill to die on.
Right.
But too many people surround themselves with people that are echoing what they're thinking right back to them. And so they're not really getting perspective, because you said something, you hit on something. You said, when you want wisdom, you go up. All right. But when you want perspective, you go out.
Yeah.
And so my brothers, my two closest friends, we're around the same age. Clinton's maybe 2 years older than me. Julie's about 1 year, a little less than a year older than me. But I go out for that perspective, and I go up for that wisdom. And I think both are equally important, depending on how you use them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. My situation started to shift when I became disciplined enough not to allow certain problems to only exist in my head. Because really, especially by the time you pull the ministry card, you think you got the answer for everything. When it's still, the Bible will tell you that in the multitude of counselors, there is success. So even the person who other people are coming to for wise counsel or advice still needs other people to count on to help get them over themselves. And I think really when people's relationship starts working is when two individuals get over themselves. And it's a hard place to get to, because you have to get to the point of trusting someone enough to be that vulnerable and to not necessarily put your needs first. And that takes time.
It does.
You know what I mean? You got to get to the point where you can trust somebody to take you out to make ice cream. But seriously, it's been a great conversation, and we're starting to edge toward the end for this particular episode. So I just want to leave. Do you brothers have anything else that y'all wanted to ask Alton before we close? And I will say that I want to close because of the number of people that we have in the chat who are single, and because of the people that we have in the chat who have been mentioning prayer. It would be nice just to close with a prayer this time, just for some guidance as we all navigate whatever level of relationship we're at. Because us married people still need help.
All day, every day.
People who are dating need help.
Yep.
People who are single need help.
Yeah.
Those of us who are looking need help. Those of us who ain't looking need help.
Yeah.
But did y'all have anything else for Alton before we get out of here?
Man, I just want to say thank you for your perspective and the wisdom, because it was refreshing to hear from another single male stand view. And I just appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule and coming to Man Cave and give us this, man. Give us that. It was amazing. Thank you.
We ain't got no fruit for you now.
We got some water.
We got a t-shirt. We got a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, he did get a t-shirt.
T-shirt and,
Got a t-shirt.
He ain't leave empty-handed now.
take you one of them nice bottles of Aquapano.
Yeah, take you one of them bottles.
You probably take that
Tropicana. Get him a bottle.
Let him take that Tropicana too.
I'm gonna drink that in the car on the way home. Get me some good refreshing water.
But man, listen, we appreciate you, man. I've kind of looked at you. I actually had to Google some stuff because I seen you on my wife's Facebook like a lot. I don't know why you was on there so much.
We're gonna talk about that on the next.
He's on there a lot, but I've consistently seen.
And she need to be here in person.
There, you know what I'm saying? And posting. I've also, I found out that you was a lawyer. You're a very, very busy man, and it's awesome to see another man of your caliber being able to do so much for the community. Especially people that look like us. That is a major thing, and I really appreciate you just coming and spending the time, man. And I'd like to reach out to you anything you got coming, soon, or anything that you want to promote, you're welcome to come here.
Absolutely.
This is home for you. You want to run for council? Come on here. This is home for you. You want to run for president? Come on here.
All right,
This is
now.
home for you. Just give me a spot. You know what I'm talking about? I appreciate you, big dog.
Somebody did say earlier in the chat something about you running for governor.
Right.
Oh, did we just let it out?
So
the
is this a drop?
Is
Was
this
this
a drop?
exclusive?
This is the drop.
Oh, it's
okay.
exclusive here.
I'm gonna say if we dropping exclusives, I'm gonna say, hey, yo, we out here. Yeah, man, I echo what everybody else has said. I appreciate you, man. We're gonna do some catching up off camera very, very soon.
We overdue.
Talk about the next time we're gonna get together and do this. Bring up some other topics, and just take the conversation on from here. But first, definitely, it's the ladies' turn next. So for those of you ladies who have stayed tuned, I thank God for y'all. We're gonna let y'all kick our backs in on the episode coming soon. I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all gonna end up having a real good argument with Carter and Pat, and I'm just gonna sit here trying to keep all the questions together.
As a matter of fact, Alice, since you said that, I think I remember my wife saying that it should be like either a marriage one or your wife, my wife, Patrick's wife. They can come and chew us up.
Yeah, we're gonna do that soon. That's probably gonna be something for 2024
or 25.
27.
Yeah, yeah. Wait till the babies get a little 5, 6. Yeah, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got to arrange babysitters for all that. We'll see if we can put that in the budget.
Speaking of wife,
Patrick's getting a call. So before we go, if you could just bow your heads for a quick word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this awesome time of fellowship here in the Man Cave. We thank you for our brother Alton and all the great things that he's doing. We thank you for each brother who's assembled here, as well as each person who's in the chat now, who has been in the chat, and who will be in the chat watching this later. We just ask for wisdom and guidance as we navigate our interpersonal relationships on all levels, and just continue to help us be the people that you've called us to be, to love you like never before, and to allow your love to overtake every last one of our relationships so that we can love the way that you've called us to love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Y'all have an awesome rest of your Sunday. Have a great week. I'm about to be country and run over and stop the broadcast because I didn't have the laptop on me. So until next time, peace, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Center to Saint podcast.
From
We
Center to
out.
Saint.
DA.
Well, y'all something else, man. I enjoyed that.
I appreciate that, man.